Okay, go to the challenge. All right, so one of the interesting things about life is that if you don't go seeking out challenges, they're going to come and find you anyway. And pretty much everyone can relate to this. Like, there's no one around who's just kicking around going, yeah, man, nothing's ever bad has ever happened to me. People have always had things going on and they've always got stuff going on. Now, the thing is, again, because most human beings spend their whole life trying to run away or get away from discomfort, thinking that you can somehow if there's a place that you can get to where nothing's going to bother you, which doesn't exist because it's just life, it's just happening. So we want to flip this around, and rather than trying to get away from discomfort and pain and challenge, which are coming anyway, you're going to actively go looking for them. And that way you build yourself up, you build up your embrace the suck muscle. So it means that you can take on bigger and bigger things in life. And when small challenges roll along, which maybe in the past would have floored you, or they floor other people, you're just like, yeah, so what? Like, because you're taking on bigger and bigger challenges in life. So when the small stuff comes, you're just like, eh. And then when the big stuff comes, you're like, okay, well, I've done all these other big things. This is just something else. And so your perception of what's going on changes. So actively seeking out challenges. This could be like any number of things, but typically they have to be full on. They have to be big. They have to be stuff that's pushing you. It can't just be, I don't know. It can't just be something easy like, oh, I'm going to go for a 20-minute walk on Monday. That's not really challenging. That's a habit that you could develop in the process to getting to somewhere else. Oh, I'm going to run a marathon. The first step I'm going to do is go for a 20-minute walk on Monday. So the running the marathon, that's the challenge. Going for a 20-minute walk on Monday, that's not a challenge. That's just like a step on the way there. So the challenges come in three main forms. First one is something that requires like a sustained long-term effort. So you've got to put in consistent work over a prolonged period of time. That could be like following a training program or a meal program or studying for a course. So something that requires you to have this, consistent actions over a long period of time. Second one is something that's going to benchmark your performance in a certain area. So in business, they have things like KPIs. They're like, benchmarking how you're going with certain things. If we're going to use a training example, it could be like a certain type of fitness test. Like I always like to keep track of how many pull-ups can I do. I'm always trying to do more. So it could be how many pull-ups am I doing? How fast can I run a kilometer? These types of things. So you can do them like you could do the test once a month, or you can look at these other KPIs that you're developing once a month, and you can see how you're tracking. And then the final one is what's called a crucible experience. So that means like something that's really big, like really gnarly, like it really pushes you so far outside your comfort zone it's not funny. But typically it'll only be for a short period of time. So the example I've got in the text is doing the Kokoda track. So you can imagine, people aren't just running up and down the Kokoda track every day. Oh, well, the Papua New Guinea guys are, but we're not. So for you to go and do the Kokoda track, that's a big deal. So you work towards it, do the lead up training, and then actually do the event itself. So for 5 days, you're really, really pushing yourself, and then at the end of it, it's complete. You can tick that off. Man, I just did that. I got through it, and then all of these challenges, once you've ticked them off and you've completed them, you're growing as a person. Like you're becoming bigger. So that way, you can take on bigger and bigger challenges. And again, when the small stuff comes along, you're like, yep, no worries. I got this. Easy.